friends at Tivoli Brewing Company and the Department of Communication Arts and Sciences at MSU Denver, this is Unfiltered. And here are your hosts, Jay Schrader and Dr. Samuel J.
We've got friends who drink here.
I've been here.
So
I've been here before.
You've been
quite
here before.
a bit, yeah.
Where are we, Jay?
Banded Oak, baby.
Which is where?
Well, it's not at 3rd and Broadway because I almost drove to Bear, which tends to happen when I'm drinking off Broadway. I get you guys mixed up. No, not one or the other necessarily over one another.
I didn't confuse this with True at all. Like
No. There's no confusing it with True. There's no confusing it with True.
More light.
Yeah, we have more light. Yeah, more light. No vampires.
No, we're okay.
Banded Oak, and I believe we're technically just south of 5th on Broadway, directly across from my favorite toy store in the whole world, the Wizard's Chest.
The Wizard's
Chest.
So if you need a landmark.
Bright purple building.
Yeah, and for those of you that have been in Mom's basement for way too long, the Wizard's Chest is no longer in Cherry Creek. So that being said, Banded Oak, 5th and Broadway, Denver, America, the world.
We're here.
And here we are with my friend and favorite, Sam J. But who else are we here with? Please introduce yourselves.
I am Chris.
What's your last name, Chris?
Kirk.
Chris Kirk.
Chris Kirk.
Like Captain Kirk.
Like Captain Kirk.
Oh, we're going to call you the
Get in
Captain.
there closer, Chris.
Yeah,
get in there
a lot closer for
Unless
that.
it smells. It might smell. Could be a smelly mic. There's a lot of stale beer in this thing.
Yeah, we don't wash them. I don't even know how to do that.
Can you wash a mic? I don't know.
No, they just patina with time. Yeah, totally.
That's what it is.
Yeah. It's fine. Just go with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris Kirk, and your title is?
Head brewer.
And I see up there in that picture. Is that you up there?
That is me up there. Yeah.
So you're obviously, you were here day one.
Yes.
Okay.
Day one.
Yes.
With this other gentleman here, and your name is?
Will Curtin.
And Will, what's your title?
I am the owner.
So you can't make beer. You're a shitty beer maker.
That is 100% right.
Okay.
100%
But
right.
a decent business decision maker.
Decent. Yeah, sure. We'll go with decent.
Let's get these out of the way now, right? Shitty beer maker, decent businessman.
And shout out for the second episode in a row. We have an audience. We've got Brian Healy, John Reef, Josh Ayers.
Yeah.
I can think of Josh's last name. Yeah.
And a bunch of
Hey
regulars.
guys, how we doing? They're here.
Yeah.
They're here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, they're running
come on,
in.
they're going to come in. They're gonna come.
No. Stay out there.
Yeah.
Stay out there. This is new for us guests.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
yeah, we apologize. We apologize for bringing new
entourage?
Banded Oak
like
Virgins.
Oh, good, yeah.
Oh, now they're going to come heckle us,
Entourage,
which is going to
dude.
be
We're doing
No
videos
heckling.
lately. We're doing some promo videos, and he just said Entourage. I feel like we should do a
Entourage?
whole Lincoln convertible get out scene. I think that would be amazing.
Totally.
So,
Is
hey,
Entourage still socially relevant?
no, but I
Hype crew.
think it's a lovely,
is that what the kids are
lovely
saying?
show.
Hype crew, yeah, they're yeah, for sure.
Is
for
that
sure.
what
Trying
kids
to hype
say?
you up?
I have a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
She doesn't talk to me.
I see Brian wore his Star Wars shirt today, so
I did.
That makes one less I'm now. There are more Star Wars nerds who are part of this fucking show. So, are you guys
Dude.
Star Wars nerds?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Did
There
you
was.
ever think that anybody that listened to this wasn't a Star Wars fan?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Star Wars and craft beer go together? Probably.
100%.
Let's do a Star Wars episode.
That green shit that they were drinking in episode 1, technically, A New Hope,
yeah.
you know that was booze.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
It had
Wait,
to
who's
be.
this guy? Hold on, who's this guy? Oh, Derek. Hey, there's the. How you doing, man? Sam. Very nice to meet you.
Holy shit.
That dude is massive. He's like a huge. He's just a huge dude. Oh my god, that's crazy. Okay, so you two, we're here to talk to
Sorry
you
about
about our
that.
friends. Sorry.
We're going to...
Not a big deal.
Tell us, how did Banded Oak get started? When did you do it? How did you two meet? Let's start there. Let's roll in there.
So we both worked at Great Divide for a while.
Okay.
I was running the Arapaho tap room for a bit, and Chris was brewing and did some of their kind of sour program and barrel aging.
Sure.
And that's kind of where we just kind of hit it off. We both have kind of a different sense of humor.
Okay.
So that was, I don't know, I guess kind of common ground, things that we would kind of joke around about.
Such as,
I was going to say, like,
I know,
ha-ha
throwing that out
funny,
there.
or...
because we talked about Blumpkins last week with the Odyssey
good
folks.
times.
So,
Jesus.
I mean, yeah, there was a Cincinnati bow tie reference. And so,
Yeah. Let's,
Dina was all on board.
I know she was not.
she was just confused.
She was mortified.
Chris was throwing out some.
I had to go do some Google research the next morning.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so wait, what's the sense of humor then? Now we got to dive in
It
there.
was just one of those, Great Divide is in not the best part of town, and so you see kind of some people wasting away, and I'm not trying to make light of any of that, but you just kind of have to
you gotta take it with a
exactly. You're seeing people kind of openly smoke crack in that part of the neighborhood. I mean, there's the Samaritan House and Methadone Clinic and all those things that are a couple blocks away. So, you just kind of have to kind of laugh instead of cry, I guess. But no, it was just one of those things where you're working kind of late hours and
putting up with a lot of human shit.
Yeah, exactly. That back alley,
a few incidents.
So really kind of a friendship, an authentic friendship is what got this thing up and going. And so how did the conversation start?
So Chris, he can kind of correct me if I'm going astray on the details, but he kind of decided to go nomad a little bit, and he went out to work for Niels Oskar out in Sweden. And then I think was down in Brazil when we first kind of started to connect. Well, essentially, I had been writing up a business plan and kind of trying to do some fundraising and things like that. And Chris posted, I think, like a Facebook message about he's a Colorado native and said something about missing home and, I wish I was kind of home back with my friends. And I just kind of seized that opportunity to just, hey, man, if you ever move back, would you be open to starting this brewery with me? And that led to kind of recipe kind of conversations. And, I mean, Chris has come up with pretty much, absolutely all of the beers that we've done. So it's just this great kind of partnership back and forth. I think you've had a dream about a couple beers. You just kind of came in and I was like, why did you think of that? You're like, I had a dream about it.
I don't know. I woke up and I was just screaming this word.
Too much of the product from the streets and the alleys around.
Right. Yeah.
Great Divide.
In the water, probably.
Don't take cigarettes from strangers.
Jesus.
Sure.
No kidding.
No.
So you leave, and what took you to Sweden? Just to get the hell out, or what?
There was, you meet a lot of people in this industry from all over the world, especially when you're working at kind of bigger name places like Great Divide. And so just made a lot of contacts over my time there. And I was talking to, there's this heavy metal band out in Sweden called In Flames.
Yep. Okay.
And they are big craft beer fans. And so they were touring the U.S. and they came through Denver. And one of the beer buyers out there in Stockholm called the brewery or, emailed the brewery and said, these guys are my friends. They're coming through town. Can you show them around the brewery?
Okay.
And everybody at the brewery was like, oh, Chris is the metalhead guy. Give it to Chris. And I was like, wow, awesome. Yeah. And so we just started a friendship there with the band. And then after a while, I was, keep talking to this beer buyer out in Stockholm, and he mentioned a job out there with Niels Oskar as a summer gig.
Okay.
So in Sweden, it's mandatory that you have to take 6 weeks of vacation.
Okay.
And most people like to take this vacation in the summer.
Okay. Makes sense.
So
that makes sense.
Oh, so you're filling a hole.
So I was out there to fill a hole,
I gotcha. Yeah. You didn't get to go out there and just immediately go on vacation.
No, this was not really vacation, but it's a beercation.
Sure.
An education. And I took full advantage of, everything that I could, but there was a lot of work too.
Sure.
But I went out there. It was supposed to be for 3 months, and they asked me to stay longer, and we stayed for 6 months. And just kind of operated. Niels Oskar's, they just installed a brand new brew house.
Okay. And
everything, and I knew more or less kind of operation and how to get their equipment going and stuff. So
good timing then.
Very.
Where would you, just on like scale of size and volume and everything else in between, how would you rank, not better to worse necessarily, but size, right? Great Divide, Niels Oskar, Banded Oak, or which is bigger?
Yeah, actually, that's about right.
Yeah.
Niels Oskar and Banded Oak were fairly close. I think when I left Great Divide, it was like somewhere around 30,000 barrels, and Niels Oskar was putting out somewhere around 50,000 hectoliters.
What? I'm sorry. Say that again.
I was going to Google it.
Those weird things.
How much that is.
Yeah,
strange numbers.
we're on the non-metric system here in the what do they call that?
A fucking American system.
Yeah. We got another guest rolling up.
The rest of the world, fuck their measurements, right? We stick to ours.
Brian and I just had a long conversation about this and daylight savings time recently. So.
Oh yeah.
This bullshit is the high level intelligence.
So what year is this? I gotta ask. Let's timestamp this thing. Yeah.
This was 2014.
Okay.
Yep.
So when did you come back and get back together and decide to start planning this?
So I came back in November of 2014.
Okay.
I went out there in June of 2014.
Okay.
And we had already been talking a little bit, so it was kind of already in the plan.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main reasons that I came back, really. Okay. Otherwise, I might have tried to stay out there and
tour with the band.
Yeah, tour with the bands and have some fun. But it was it was a good offer and I like I said I was kind of missing home, so it was nice to have something to come back to and kind of get going. And while we were getting it set up, I was working at Odyssey with Chris and Dina.
They're all right. We were okay with them.
You know those guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just as we were finalizing all plans here and getting that stuff going, and so.
So while he's gone, were you kind of working on business plan and everything and kind of everything in order? All right, that makes sense.
So we're just kind of trying to pick out, location. You never know, if you want to spend the money and kind of pay crazy high rent and, try to sell more beer to kind of make $0, or if you want to be a little bit of a destination to kind of make people come to you a bit and pay cheaper rent. And so we kind of went the cheaper rent route. Which,
this is cheaper rent?
We were looking at before kind of Rhino.
Broadway's where it's at. Although technically you're not south, I guess.
We're not.
Right? Yeah,
so
you're
we're
on
about
the
2 blocks away from South Broadway.
Yeah, all right. You're all right. You're still making it, in my opinion.
Right.
So this is cheaper on a scale, though, huh?
It is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That
For
makes
the other
sense.
places we were looking at, it was kind of the buffer area between kind of downtown and South Broad.
Sure.
Across the street where Daiji is was a Family Dollar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm thinking back to 15. I mean, what was here when you guys moved in?
What was here at that time was a kind of furniture woodworking shop.
Okay.
And then that was pretty much an empty, for a while, Family Dollar.
And no Wizard's Chest.
No Wizard's Chest. They bought that after we moved in.
Yeah, they didn't call me to talk about that, but that's
went
all
up
right.
really quick. As soon as we were here, like, these guys opened.
Trendsetters.
Yeah, maybe. Very possible.
When did Bear open?
Yeah.
Was Bear around?
Bear has about a year head start on us.
Oh, really?
Maybe a year and change.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty soon.
And Crazy Mountain was not yet into the Calumet shop.
They were not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right. And True, were they around yet?
True was there.
I bet if you don't know where to find this guy, the metalhead, he's probably down,
you were there.
down at True.
Jamming out.
True's a solid spot
Spent
for
some
sure.
days at that bar, yeah.
So before you opened up and you were looking at those this location, were you talking to the folks at Bear and True too? Like, I mean, was there some camaraderie that was already there before you all even opened up?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
You go and it's kind of a daunting conversation to have, and you just don't want to say like, oh, I'm the competition. I'm about a block away. But they were unbelievably nice.
Okay.
The beer community.
I mean, it's got to you got to sustain each other in a lot of ways, right?
And
We've all been around for a while.
I was going to say,
yeah, for sure.
No strangers,
the True
probably.
guys used to come into Great Divide, and Bear would be around, and everybody kind of knew each other from around.
Last time I was in Bear, like 5 guys in Banded Oak shirts were at the bar.
Yeah.
So, and Josh, one of our guests of honor today, was actually sitting there with me, and we had a good laugh about it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. It's like you can't go into a brewery these days without running into a guy from another brewery.
That's the one thing I think. One thing we've learned multiple things off this podcast, but one of the takeaways that I would say I have is that, you come into this as an outsider thinking very much from an advertising, marketing, sales perspective, and I think that's just the default because of what we have to consume in terms of how the industry reaches us. And you get to talking to guys like you, right, to people like you, and you realize that perspective of competition is not necessarily reality. Like there of course is competition, and you want to sell the most beer, but in a lot of ways, you go next door because you need some more, you need you need to use the equipment, or you need.
I need some grain, this fucking guy broke a wrench again. Can I borrow
some yeast? Right. We talk about yeast. Everybody's sharing yeast with each other,
which blows my mind
all the time.
I get it. Right. I totally understand. Like that's the beauty of this industry versus a lot of other industries, is that people.
For sure.
I mean, yeah, you want to win, but you also, it's like, they're your brothers in arms and sisters in arms.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, we all do. Yes, we're in the kind of under the umbrella of craft beer, but I mean, between us, Bear, and True, all of our beers are so different.
Yeah,
we
that's a good
don't
point.
really compete with a direct demographic, or I guess more of a specific demographic. But I mean, it's you kind of go and you try their beer and you kind of respect it for what it is, and everyone kind of does the way they want it.
What's your demographic here? I mean, outside of the 7 or 8 assholes we dragged in with us, I see a Hawaiian shirt. I see a tailored shirt and cufflinks.
Okay.
You tell me what's going on out there. Who's drinking your beer?
We have a lot of regulars that live in the neighborhood that are, we see, 2-3 times a week, which is fantastic.
Walkable neighbors type.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I mean, scooters. They're kind of the bane of.
They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, they're the devil, but
almost killed a dude on a scooter. Just pulling in here. Like you're supposed to be on the road, right? They're supposed to be like a.
Oh man.
From now on, yeah.
Jeez.
What do you do, right? Like you throw one in a river, 10 more show up all of a sudden.
I had a 6-pack of beer in my car. I know what I would have done. I would have gone to jail. But Westerfield's here, so.
Right. Thank God for Westerfield and Westerfield and whatever they are. Yeah. Martin. That's who it is.
Yeah. Okay. So.
So there's no demographic, or it's local demographic. I mean,
right? Yeah, I mean, we don't do. We're not on kind of the fringe, kind of creatively.
Okay.
We do a lot of very classic styles. Well, we don't do a lot of. We don't do a pumpkin beer. We do a Marzen. We don't do really kind of any type of hazy IPA. We just do a really straightforward West Coast IPA.
I'm fine with that. I appreciate
we know you are. Yeah, but then there's the old aged in a Pinot Noir barrel that clearly speaks to...
A little bit. Absolutely.
Moi.
You are a classy bastard.
No, that's got nothing to do with
it. Okay, sorry. We cut you off.
No. But no, we just... we like to experiment a lot with, wine and whiskey barrels, for sure. But we try... I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to in any way have like a negative spin to it, but just... There are a lot of trends in beer, and we choose to follow some and
stay away from most trends. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not really making beer that's similar to any of the local competition, is what you're telling me. I mean, everybody's got their own kind of niche, is what it sounds like.
Absolutely. I mean, in beer, putting beer in wine barrels is not the fastest way to make $1 million or whatever you want to call it. It's we're doing it for the quality of the beer. We're not doing it kind of immediately for just the kind of the quick turn of profit, which is kind of what I like.
Well, I'm gonna get that next.
Have some more as it warms up, though. I don't know what it is. It changes it. It tastes. Yeah. I don't want to say cider, but it kind of comes off as a cider almost. I mean that's amazing, especially as it warms up. My hand must warm the glass, kind of like a brandy or something like that. And we got another guest.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
We get 10% of all take.
We've reached mythological status now, cult status.
Yeah, I would say, mythologicals probably.
Yeah, we're not real.
Yeah.
We're not real. Okay, so actually, let's go back real quick to the kind of beer selection. How much of your experience, as brief as it was in Scandinavia, impacted this?
Excellent question, Samuel.
Or impact what you do just on a day-to-day basis, I guess.
Quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
So it was a really nice exchange of education out there. So they kind of brought me out with the idea of kind of sharing the American ingenuity of craft beer, as they are more or less kind of German educated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
I learned a lot more about kind of doing German style brewing, clean lagering, water, treating water, and all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of that came back into my my German style beers, which we usually have quite a few on tap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the beer is tasty here.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea you'd never been in here before.
No, I have not been here. But it makes it better.
This was when I was working right down the street. This was a a regular spot for sure. I was always pissed though. You guys had weird hours at one point that it like either closed on Monday or didn't open quite early enough. Something would throw me off, and I'm, as I've indicated in the past and today, not good at research. So I'd set up meetings here all the time and show up and be like, fuck. And I'm always late, so people are waiting around for me at a closed location. But
no, it's
I love it. No, and don't even worry about addressing my problems as a human being. My point is, I've been coming here for years, and I love it. It's fucking awesome.
Good.
So the name, I assume it comes from a wine barrel in the band around the oak?
Technically, a whiskey barrel.
Or a whiskey barrel,
friend of
sorry,
ours
a
that
barrel.
works at a distillery came up with Banded Oak.
Okay.
Feel free to
it was
plug your
just-
distillery friend too.
Stranahan's. I'm sure
nice.
they need no plug.
Probably not actually.
Is that a
Yeah.
new distillery? Is it?
Do they make cheap whiskey?
Yeah. So, okay, so you got it from there, and then, I mean, I love the logo. That's really cool.
Yeah, no. We have one, kind of in-house designer that does all of our stuff. So it's funny every time he comes and grabs a beer, he's like stepping into his own kind of portfolio. No, we all had kind of names. For my personal name that I came up with was the Drunkard's Club,
Okay.
which I just like kind of the imagery of.
Yeah.
And that ended up being one of the beers that we made.
Okay.
So we found a way to use that name, which was nice. But I don't know, Chris, did you have a kind of a name you were rooting for early on?
It's tough to recall. I know we had a list of 100 names that we just started checking them down. Like that won't work. That's okay. That's stupid. That's dumb. And then our friend from Stranahan's just like, what about that? It's like, and because of our kind of connection with our barrels and stuff like that, it's like, oh, yeah, well,
That worked.
that works.
It worked.
So is it just you two in terms of kind of executive management? Or are there
is.
other? Okay.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's pretty rare to
That
just
is.
have
Small team.
Yeah, just a partnership. That's awesome.
It's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris has completely handled all the back of the house stuff. I mean, he'll bounce ideas off me and just like, hey, what do you think of this or that? And I'll throw my 2 cents in. And
Okay.
Sometimes he takes it, sometimes he doesn't. But it's a really nice kind of fun partnership where, I just kind of do my thing up front. He does his thing in the back. And more often than not, we have a beer and catch up and try to figure out what's next.
Staff meetings are kept to a
Yeah, I was
minimum.
going to say, it probably simplifies things a lot too, right? Yeah. Right. Okay.
So if he calls you out of the back and there's water instead of beer, it's going to be a bad conversation, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. What is going on?
Oh, no.
Stuff's going down.
Sure.
It's
It's
going
like getting a
down.
text from your mom. We need to talk. Oh, no. Right. Okay, so.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
No, never.
You're okay.
Never.
Yeah, you just
Not an
kinda-
intelligent one.
Yeah, I know. That is true.
At the end, at some point, I have to plug in the one thing that's just got me so excited about this interview.
Okay.
So at some
You
point.
want to wait on it? You
Yeah.
wanna say it now? Okay.
No, we'll wait on it.
Let's go back to choosing location.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking all around town. You're looking at different areas. What was it about this spot that you saw and you're like, okay, like it's I like it because it's far enough off Broadway where it's not crazy loud, crazy dusty, but yet all the activities there. It's fun to see. Did you see what did this used to be, and did you see that when it was here?
So this was an auto garage.
Okay.
So one of the kind of technical things that was really nice was it was about I want to say like 14-inch concrete throughout everything.
Okay.
So really super strong.
Oh, perfect.
For all of our
Yeah.
equipment in the back. The landowner.
Did you have the drainage already?
We did not. We had to do the trench drain ourselves. But the building owner was okay with us taking up some parking spaces and building out the outside patio.
Okay.
Patio's great.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's nice.
And a rare find on Broadway.
It is.
But you get a good patio that's not on Broadway.
Right, and the fact
parking
that,
lot.
And a parking lot.
Totally.
Yeah, you guys win 2 boxes checked.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so
Sorry, go ahead. No. Well, no, was it like a Jiffy Lube? What was it? I feel like I'm in a.
Why are you worried about it?
Because I just want to like imagine sitting
This
here
is
drinking,
the office, and
drinking
that's
my
where
coffee,
they did oil changes.
right? I'm drinking my coffee.
Get over it.
My really shitty Jiffy Lube, or
So I think it was the service station to a European car
so it's a classy
dealership.
That's why you guys do the wine barrels. That makes total sense.
Yeah, so like even I was walking by today, like down Broadway, like even on some of the concrete, like the building pediments, you'll see Studebaker, you'll see Packard, you'll see like very old dealerships
printed on the concrete.
On the concrete, like they were the company that built that building, and so this part of
fucking
Broadway
cool.
was kind of dealership lane.
No shit.
And I think that was Sports Castle.
Yeah.
Kind of why they have the ramps.
Yeah,
was
the
a lot of
Sports Castle.
times
Yeah.
it was driving in and out of kind of showrooms and things like that.
No shit.
So it's got some interesting kind of Colorado or just
Instead
Broadway
of like
history.
those vending machines they have now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. You can get your car that
vending
way.
machine.
So, okay, you said that you make like what are the beers you consider the staples that you always have on tap that you think like what are your favorite beers to make and what do you like? What are your preciouses?
We always have to have an IPA on tap.
Okay. Why? Because people like me drink them.
It's just a common. It's a Colorado menu staple.
Okay.
Have to have it. But
what goes into your IPA then? Let's stop there. Like, what are you putting in there? What kind of hops are you using?
Our IPA it's all local hops from High Hops, Paonia.
Okay.
It's just two style. It's just a CTZs and Chinooks.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. The C's. Yep.
Nice. The C's.
All right. Like a good West Coast.
Colorado West
right?
Coast C's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So pretty much, it's just a straightforward, balanced IPA.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And what else?
So we always try and have on some sort of like seasonal lager beer.
Okay.
So we'll have the Vienna on come the spring, summer, and then the Marzen is coming on for fall and winter.
Nice.
And then the Porter is always on for the winters.
Okay.
The Atomga Imperial Stout is one we try and keep on year round.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to try that next. I'm a really bad interviewer, by the way, if you haven't figured that out. I didn't go to journalism
Really
school.
bad interviewee. I don't know if you figured that out.
Sam's ADD tends to kick in about 25 minutes in.
Yeah. Ooh, a bird.
And then we always try to have at least a couple of barrel-aged beers available.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So where are the barrels? Are they back there? You're kind of aging everything back there?
Yep.
All right. That makes sense. That makes total sense. Okay.
And what's your favorite beer that you see coming around what do you grab every time you come into the bar?
That's coming up that we haven't released yet.
I don't know. Tell me. I mean, what should we look for? But out of everything that Chris does as head brewer, what's your favorite beer that he's done?
I mean,
wow,
I think
the
I don't know this. I don't know this either.
Well, you should know, right? You should know.
The Drunkard's Cloak was probably my favorite.
Okay. Was that because you were tied to the name, though?
No. So the original Drunkards was, I thought, absolutely delicious. We did a kind of a Drunkards Volume 2, which we have on tap. I'm curious if you guys kind of want to taste it. But
hell yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Our
It's a dumb
kind of 3-year
question.
anniversary beer.
Okay.
And we did, essentially it has, 3 years of total age on it.
Oh, wow.
So it's got, the Old Ale out of Pinot for 1 year. And then we did an Imperial Brown out of Cabernet.
2 years.
For 2 years.
Yep.
And then we blended it. And it is delicious.
Do I need to call my wife and have her pick me up?
It's possible. I
Okay.
think it's, 9.3?
9.3, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not crazy. It's not completely out of control.
Actually, that's the one I looked at as an alternative, but
You get a taste of it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a taste of it for sure.
And that's just like a really good, very easily enjoyable, just for, really dark, complex beer. Or if you want to kind of, pick it apart as a beer nerd, there's just so many little nuance flavor parts of that beer that I just absolutely love.
Cool.
So we're not beer nerds. That's why we do this podcast.
Well,
Right on. Yeah.
We're beer nerds.
We're beer
We're not-
drinkers.
We're not smart beer nerds.
We like to drink
Yeah, you
too
like
much.
what you like.
Yeah.
I get it.
My favorite.
Well, can we get a taste now? Should we drink it?
Yeah, you might interrupt him and get
No.
a taste? Sure.
Yeah,
do
sure.
it. Send one.
Yeah.
No.
Can I go grab one?
Yeah,
Please,
would you mind?
yeah,
Yes.
please.
Yeah,
Please.
We're going to ask Chris some questions.
No, we're not actually.
Don't leave me.
Hang on,
Yes.
hang on. Now that he's gone, I just got to tell you guys how much Will looks like John C. McGinley from Scrubs.
Oh, he does. He looks
Holy
like a young
shit,
John C.
doesn't he?
McGinley. Holy
Like,
Santa
I keep
Claus.
waiting for him to yell at me from,
does.
like, as an ER nurse, or maybe I'm trying to think of all the movies John C. McGinley was in.
Is that the mean guy? That
The mean head doctor from Scrubs, but he was
Okay.
also a crazy attack
He's been
soldier ninja from The Rock, and I think he was in Platoon.
He was in Platoon. You're right. Yeah, he wasn't mean in Platoon.
And he was also crazy and mean in the Keanu Reeves hit Point Break.
Wow, that's right.
So I'm gonna just call it. Yeah, dude.
Those late 80s, early 90s movies. That's your jam.
IMDb.com app is the best shit ever. Although I did not IMDb any of this.
So it just must be hot as fuck back there.
It gets warm back there.
I mean,
yeah.
Where are you sourcing all your stuff? Your malt, everything. Where are you getting them?
So usually I get most of my malt comes from BSG.
Okay. All right.
Does anybody else make malt?
It's everybody's BSG, right?
Yeah. Jesus.
Well, I mean, BSG supplies from Rahr and Wireman and Castle and Simpson, so they have a lot of selection.
Okay.
Yeah, if you need it, they probably got it.
Right.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Well,
we're not
you
homebrewing.
need the finished.
We need you to need it.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Hops, like I said, a lot of them come from BSG.
Yeah.
Yakima Chief, and also local from High Hops Paonia.
Okay, that makes sense.
And High Hops, just out of curiosity, this is the same High Hops that has the plantation, grows their own hops, but has their own beer line as well, right?
I believe they have their
small
little brewery they kind of experiment with their hops.
Yeah, they do. Holy shit.
I've been up there. It's a great
high wire hops.
Yeah, great
I believe
brewery.
they're connected.
They're in Windsor. Technically, they're in Windsor. So
I guess as a brewer, what are you seeing? I'm gonna ask the question.
Yeah.
Does hazy last? Is hazy sticking around for a while?
Come on.
I don't think so.
What do you mean? This is it's unfiltered.
Yeah, you got to stop asking the same question over and over.
I got to ask the same fucking question because I want it to go away.
Until hazy's gone.
Yes, exactly.
Until it's gone.
And we can go back and say, Chris, you were right. Yes. Yeah.
I just think that as a style, it's not sustainable for breweries, especially larger breweries.
Yeah.
Because it's just such short shelf life and it's really expensive to make.
Is it hard as fuck to clean after you've made it?
Yeah, I haven't ever made one. No.
Okay.
But I know the processes of it, and I've looked into it, and it's just an enormous amount of hops, and it's a lot of people are doing it, and it's kind of killing the style, I think, too, because of the hop burn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of driving people away.
Who's it driving away, in your opinion?
Just people who are like, "Ooh, I want to try a hazy," and then they get one, and it's hop burn, or it's some other just like that's so thick. I'm chewing this. And, and it's something for people to try, but I think it will fade.
Okay.
Opinion.
Dr. Cox, what's your opinion on?
Chris and
He said that you look just like the guy from Scrubs.
Oh, from Scrubs.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah. From Platoon. Same guy.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Dr. Perry Cox. You're John C. McGinley.
Yeah.
Like a slightly slimmed down.
Every once in a while.
Oh, Tom Hanks. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Forrest Gump when he has the beard when he's running across the country.
Yeah.
Halloween last year, I actually won a contest.
Just
it was
nailed
hilarious.
it.
That's
nailed it.
fucking awesome. All right. Well, now I just lost the John C. McGinley bet. But anyway, what do you see in trends? I mean, what are you guys looking for?
No, the one thing is just trying to educate people on what's out there. And one of my kind of favorite things to do is, as a bartender, if someone kind of gets brought in and they're not a beer person, but they're open to trying new things where, I only drink white wine, I only drink tequila, I only drink gin. Finding beer with those kind of profiles is really challenging to me. But more often than not, if someone's open to kind of trying, a few tasters, and, obviously I'm not trying to like milk them of money or anything. Like, it's just, would you like some free beer to kind of help kind of sway your mind on certain styles. It's really fun. More often than not, we'll get someone who will only think IPAs, craft beer is synonymous with IPAs.
Yeah.
It's almost like reminds me of when people are like, oh, we're going to go up to the Fat Tire Brewery tomorrow. And you're like, oh, you mean New Belgium? And they're like, oh, what's that?
That was what Chris was telling us last week.
Just last week. We talked about that at Odyssey.
He made the same
funny.
point, yeah.
And so it's, I don't know. Once again, if someone really wants to give craft beer a try and they come into your business and they have a bad, experience, then they're going to not want to, they're going to stick to their domestics or do whatever they typically drink. And so it's not in any way trying to shame people or make fun of people. It's just, hey, man, can I throw some beer at you and see what you think?
Let's talk about this one real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, educate us on the drunkard's cloak, too. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right, brewer, Chris Kirk, what are we? Let's pretend like we know what we're talking about.
I was going to say, I was going to have Will talk to us like we'd never had it, like we're not beer people.
Take a sip to remember.
Dumb it down for me.
So good. That is so good.
It's really good. I like that.
So it's basically, like Will said, it was a blend from a younger beer and an older beer.
Okay.
Total of 3 years. Our Imperial Brown that we did in Cabernet barrels from Grace Family Vineyard.
Which is where?
Napa Valley. Yep.
Where else?
Iowa makes beer, dude.
I don't know. You mean they make wine?
Sorry, wine.
And it's blended with an old ale that we do every winter into a second use Pinot barrel. Which the second use, I allowed it to sit for about 2 weeks, I think. And it kind of it grew some of the fun bugs and stuff that they grow, and it cultured really beautifully. And so with the blend, it's kind of like a stock ale. Is how I describe it.
You'd call this a stock ale?
A stock ale. Yep. Some with stock beer that's kind of been sitting for 2 years, and then with a fresh kind of maltier, malty finish on it.
I get a little bit of, I was going to say, sour. So
yes, it is.
See, this is where I'm like, actually, I'm learning some shit.
Some of it's sticking.
Yeah, eventually it'll never stick again.
Yeah, and it was one of those beers, you pull the nail on a barrel and you taste it, and it's like, oh, that's good. And
tell me how that works when you pull the nail. I mean, how much beer are you actually tasting when you do that?
When you pull a nail, you pull about an ounce or two.
Okay.
Yeah, just a quick little sample.
Will, do you help sample when they?
I do. Yeah, that's absolutely one of my favorites. When you taste something that's flat and warm, and it's delicious,
and it still tastes good.
It's one of those I get really
jacked.
excited about it. Where I'm just like, oh my god! Like when this is cold and carbonated,
it's going to be amazing.
People are going to love it.
Okay.
So that's one of my personal favorites.
Cool.
So are you packaging any of this? Like, where you put it in bottles and, special release that shit? Or is it all just right here?
We rarely do.
We got a barrel back there.
We do 750s bottles. This summer we kind of fell a little bit behind and didn't really. Normally we have about at least a bottle for sale at all times. With kind of how well our crowler's been doing and kind of Beer to Go has been doing in that respect, it's just an easier process. We're doing more crowlers than bottles.
That makes total sense. Are you good? You got a question?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yes.
I've got a question. We haven't asked this in a while.
Oh.
Knowing that you have those Great Divide roots. And our friends over at Spangalang do too.
We know a lot of people from Great Divide, I think, really, right?
Yeah, quite a few. What was the beer that got you wanting to make beer or start a beer business? It was like what was the shift from grandpa or dad or mom's Bud Light or Coors Light to even a Fat Tire, even like something that's like, wow, this is different. What was it?
I would say, for me, there was this little brewery up in Lakewood called Ironworks.
Yeah.
They are no longer a place.
No, they are not.
There was a tragic story behind that.
The history on that place. I kept that place in business from 03 to 05. I don't understand. They should have been able to ride this out. Poor guys.
Yeah, but that was one of the first places I was going to school, and I was delivering flyers for a pizza shop, and I would go in there, throw most of the flyers in the dumpster.
Yes.
And go in there. And
that's a good work ethic.
Totally. Beer, they're house beer. Well, I would play pool with the buddy that I was supposed to be flyering with. And that's kind of like my first this is different kind of beers. And then I got a taste for Denver Pale Ale.
Okay.
And Denver Pale Ale kind of put me over.
Yeah, that was
because Ironworks beers, they were Ironworks beers. But Denver Pale Ale was just such a really nice, floral, different kind of pale ale, and I was just like, oh, okay.
And that was it for you.
Okay. Honest to God, when I first got into my career. When I was in college, we were supposed to go door to door and talk to people about coming and banking with my bank.
Yeah.
And they would send us out with folders. And I would throw them all in the trash. And I would sit at the bar at the Fox and Hound for 2 hours.
And just drink.
And then come back really happy and be like, sorry, I didn't find anybody that wanted to bank with us.
I gave a shit out of those flyers, man. Those folders.
I'm going to go take a nap in my cubicle now.
Yeah. I'm tired. What was yours, William?
So it was Great Divide as well. I lived 4 blocks away from Great Divide for a long time, and essentially that was where I went to kind of drown my sorrows, and probably Titan, even though it's such a maltier, kind of funkier, different IPA, and Yeti. Yeti was definitely the first like super dark beer that it was just super drinkable, and being a walk away from home, I could overindulge a little bit without being dangerous, which was nice. It was just such a fun atmosphere in the early days of Great Divide. Before they opened up the back of the tap room, before Brighton Boulevard happened, all that kind of stuff, and it was one of those weird kind of time and place moments where Chris was there and all the brewers got along-ish with the taproom guys that got along-ish with the sales guys, and
is that
all the bottling guys.
Slice in time that doesn't happen quite the same way anymore?
I don't really know their culture, but my personal experience, it just shifted with Brighton Boulevard and became just kind of a monster company.
We always look at the guys at just Great Divide as a being or a beast, and can't decide whether it's a story of success or whether it's overindulgence, as you say, maybe, or maybe it's just too far in front of your skis too soon. And one of these days, maybe we'll corner somebody important at Great Divide and get them on a mic, because
history's going to tell us, right? I think that's.
I'd rather ask the questions before.
No, the
before we see something.
No, I think you're right. I think it's good to throw it out there now, because now you're seeing the data showing that the industry is going away from that kind of scale and more to the local tap, the European model, if you will. And I think this might be here to stay for a while, at least. Right? Everything's cyclical, but
we absolutely hope.
So if you're out there listening, Great Divide.
You're
throwing down the gauntlet.
Got too big.
Give us a call, please. We just want to have a chat.
Well, okay. Let me ask you then. I guess as business, runners, owners, how is Odell able to do why are they still having success and making, not to say Great Divide, I'm not going to try to put you, I'm not putting any pressure on you to answer this in any way, but to me, their beer is almost better than it was 3-4 years ago, right?
So
and it's getting bigger.
They're employee owned.
Okay, so.
So kind of a funny, weird side story was I love Odell's, and I have a really good relationship with kind of when I was at Great Divide, the people that were working at Odell's. And so, long story short, I kind of talked my way into managing the tap room at Great Divide. Like, completely talked my way into it. Like, wasn't qualified. It was a trust thing, and it happened, and I got extremely lucky. And once I got it, I got really nervous. And so I kind of set meetings with Jason Bowser, who was running Odell's, and Phil, who's running Avery, and a couple other guys. And I literally just laid it out, like, all right, this is the...
Don't tell my boss, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I don't really know what I'm doing, but, like, any advice would be fantastic. And some of those guys, like, obviously laughed at me, which is totally fine.
Have you ever seen the movie The Secret to My Success?
Oh, no.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kindred spirits here, me and Captain Kirk. Michael J. Fox, like 1987.
Oh, nice.
Dude.
Right.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, well, I'll send you a link.
All right. No, I'll check it out.
Yeah, smell it, don't sell it, right? Or sell it, don't smell it. I said that backwards. Yeah.
But no, and just kind of visiting kind of Jason up at Odell's a bunch, and his now wife, I think, runs the Denver Odell's. So, I mean, but no, in my humble opinion, I think it's because they're employee-owned. Many minds kind of make, good decisions, and they really work their small batch pilot system, where you walk in there and they have stuff that's in Denver, stuff that's in Fort Collins, and single batch they'll never make again.
Now it's in Denver.
Yeah.
So looking at the landscape, where should we drink that's not here? Like, who would you send us to see to get a beer?
What is that?
I tried Bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
Yeah. No, totally.
But if that's truthfully,
Yeah, absolutely.
if that's your go-to when you're not here, that's good to know, right? And I said this earlier. Every time I'm in a brewery, I see other brewery employees, and literally the last time I was in Bear, Banded Oak shirts everywhere, and God, I didn't even ask them who they were. It doesn't seem like a huge staff. It might have been all three of you. Fuck, I don't know.
I think
Could have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm wondering who was running the show, though.
Yeah, we have 7 people total working here. So.
But yeah, I mean, if Bear's where you would tell us to go, we'll go there.
Yeah,
and I've been there. Will, where would you send us? Like, what's the brewery that we should be checking out right now?
I think Bear absolutely kills it, and they're great neighbors. I lived down in kind of the River North area for so long. I really like, our mutual friend, and just seeing them kind of evolve from what they were. And they make really delicious, complex beer. I think Jan over there is absolutely killing it. And a friend of mine's a bartender and used to work at Great Divide. So, you kind of, when you work with people in kind of stressful circumstances, it's kind of, you have that shared history, and so it's nice to kind of see a friendly face.
Do you guys have secret handshake, the old ex-Great Dividers, or do you guys wear T-shirts?
I don't know.
Tattooed on their chest.
I was gonna say there's got to be something that
Back tats.
lower
back.
do. It's like this. It's like this that you got to show the lower lip.
Wakanda.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wakanda forever, baby. What do they call that? A warmonger tattoo?
Yeah. Oh, nice. Look at you.
I'm bringing out the movies today. I'm feeling it.
So
Clearly, I might put no effort or brain power into work.
because we like to get off air and ask, questions, off the record questions, we'll close this up. Where can we find your beer? Just here, or are you putting it out anywhere else?
We're at 4 different places right now.
Okay, where are we?
That's easy. Rattle them all off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're at
Or don't.
Margiano Pronto, which is like a place in Union Station.
Yeah.
Like right outside Union Station. It's just a really small kind of cafe breakfast spot.
Okay.
They normally have something.
It's an Italian place, right?
It is.
Yeah.
We're up at Broadway Marketplace. Our double is. I don't know if you guys have been there, but you can pour your own. They do the bottom filling glasses, which is kind of cool.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I didn't know that. I haven't been in there yet.
Yeah, the old Tony's marketplace.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. They did a really good job with their build out. Where else? Oh yeah, we were at Tap 14. We did a collaboration with the downtown Tap 14 on Blake, and then the one uptown. Forget that's 17th. Anyway,
17th something, yeah.
something like that. But yeah, those are the 4 I think.
Sweet.
Toronto, yeah.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Where, I guess, any events you want to announce that are coming up in the next 3 weeks? Because we won't run this for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
We don't tell
Any
anybody that
September,
until
October,
it's too late.
Fest events you want to advertise?
Oh, with the Marzen, yeah.
Yeah, the Marzen will definitely do something to kind of celebrate Oktoberfest.
Do you guys feel like delivering a small barrel to my family's annual Oktoberfest feast that we put on?
Maybe.
That's like
Maybe.
30
How far's
just
the drive?
It's right down the road. It's just 30 fucked up German Irish Americans. It's fucking
fantastic.
it's awesome. You can stay for schnitzel. My wife lived in Germany for like 6 weeks and learned how to make schnitzel.
So she's very German. Sorry, Tanya.
Dude, all she does is make we don't really that's not
Yeah.
Eating and making the schnitzel.
Does other stuff too. It's fine.
She rubs my feet and she makes schnitzel, and she's damn good at both. God, I wish that was it.
Oh man.
I've got a caller question. We have a caller question.
We got a caller question.
Yeah.
Okay, what
Did
is
you
the
guys
question?
enter anything into GABF this
There we
year?
go.
What should we look for?
We did, yeah. We put in 5 beers this year to competition.
Holy shit, that was a loaded question coming from. Let's get this guy on the air real quick. Can we get this guy on the air?
Who, him? What does he want?
Can you get over
Back
here?
there.
No.
He owns. Do you own half a brewery? What are you doing?
Jesus. Josh Ayers from Lyndon,
He's been back there on his phone for an hour.
Technically, he's in Denver, so it's not really that big a deal. Yeah. Okay. It's Joe from Wisconsin.
Joe from Wisconsin. Caller.
Yeah, no. So GABF. I mean, it's actually we'll drop this.
Yeah, right
around GABF. So yeah, we might as well address that real quick.
That is an event.
Tell us, it's kind of an event.
I mean, small event.
It's more of a shit show, but
tiny little beer festival.
5 beers.
5 beers, yep. In a competition, we're pouring 4 beers on the floor in the Meet the Brewer section.
Okay.
MEET, Meet the Brewer.
Yeah, Meet the Brewers is pretty cool. So it's any brewery that entered into Great American that we don't get any volunteers.
Okay.
So it's either friends of the brewery, bartenders, brewery owners, staff, whatever. So it's a good time. So a lot of times, if you want a question answered and you go, asks whoever's pouring the beer, they have no idea.
Oh, dude, deer in headlights.
Right.
Yeah.
If you go to Meet the Brewers, you get to talk to someone that works at that brewery. So it's pretty cool.
And that'll be every night? How does that work? How does that Meet the Brewer thing?
Okay. Yeah, every single session.
Okay. So
you guys shut this place down?
No.
For GABF, you can still come here and have a beer while you guys are at Meet the Brewer.
Yeah, I will probably maybe only do one session.
We may have cornered them on a logistical question.
No.
You and I are running the tap house.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why, if it's friends and family pouring beer, and we've done 40 plus interviews, and we couldn't have pissed all 40 of them off.
We come pretty close.
Yeah. Usually, I mean, why has nobody asked us to pour beer at friends and family or Meet the Brewer?
Brewers aren't really planners. Yeah.
Well, and they look at us and they're like, these two are going to drink all the beer before they can answer any questions.
Exactly.
And
which
that's okay.
is possible. Yeah.
Do you like the GABF thing, or I take it back, not GABF, but having a big festival like that in town?
Absolutely.
You do.
Yeah.
So we just like CBC, everybody's been like, love it, but shit, it is work. Like
take
that,
it
like
back to Texas.
It's a lot.
It's not vacation. You are.
No, I mean, Great American, it has a public aspect of it, obviously, and CBC really doesn't.
Yeah. You're right.
So it's great to see kind of how people respond to your beer, and every once in a while you get a negative response, and it's
what are you gonna do?
Hilarious. The couple times we've gotten negative responses, it's been like, I didn't like it, and the person's like, next person behind them is like, this is the best beer I've ever had.
I was gonna say, does everybody around that person pan out like it's a fight in the schoolyard, and there's one poor guy in the middle of the circle calling you out that they don't like your beer, and I can imagine that's a pretty hostile environment. Does being a Colorado and a Denver brewery, and let's just narrow it down even more, you guys are a mile from GABF physically.
We get spillover, yeah.
Yeah, but more importantly, does that make GABF it's on your agenda, it's a requirement every year? Is that part of the program in Denver?
Even if it's not part of the actual event, Denver explodes, and so you have to be prepared for an influx of just beer people from all over, and you're right down the street. So usually they print out a map what's local that you can walk to, pretty much.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, and it's a nice kind of last hurrah before it gets cold.
Sure,
and
that's a good point.
Beer kind of slows down a bit in the wintertime.
The good news is Sam and I drink beer
24/7
well through the winter. It's the only thing that keeps me. It's the second thing that keeps me.
Those might be. I mean, we got to keep the show going. So
yeah. We got to hit 52. Winter's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah.
Breweries are going to be empty. Tap rooms are going to be empty. People are going to be talking.
We'll have our crew of listeners.
Clearly,
that'll be the sell.
7 or 8 people that don't have jobs that latch onto us.
Well, you two, thank you, Chris, and to Will. Much appreciated. We'll have to refill these glasses when we're off.
Cheers.
Thank you both so much. Come over to Banded Oak, right off Broadway. And I guess Broadway and Spear to me is Broadway and 6th, a little bit easier kind of intersection. There's a Subway close, right across from the Wizard's Chest. Right?
Why do we want a Subway? There's Day G, the Hornets right down the street.
It's the biggest sign.
If you're going to rattle off food, I'm going to get excited.
Yeah, there's a ramen spot that should be open in about a month.
Oh, I had ramen today. I was impressed.
Wait, do you even have to do food trucks here? Do you not do?
We do for special occasions, when we do live music and stuff. But people are more than welcome to bring outside food in, and that's easy enough.
Sense.
Always the topics we don't get to address. UMS, we didn't get to talk about it.
Always forget it.
Part 2. We'll come back.
UMS was so fun this year.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
UMS is their table beer probably for a short time only. So
Yes.
Yep, we did
get
it.
on in here for the UMS.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.